talk about two completely different games. For real, for real. Let's break it down. Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to Raptors Flex Plus. I am your host, Kyle. Gia. And wow. Wow. Literally two completely different games on Tuesday and Wednesday against the Orlando Magic and the Indiana Pacers. Right? Like we got our doors just blown off against the Magic. Blown off. Like we were not gonna win that game the way that we played. There was no maybe come back in the second half and try to win. Like the tone was set early, and then they slapped us, yo. They slapped us. And then on the flip side, now we come back with Indiana on Wednesday, and we got the dub. The only way that the Raptors know how to do it, like giving us a heart attack, making it so difficult. That's just what we do so far to start the year, you know? But we went 1-1 in that stretch, and that is the important part. And we also learned some things about our team, which is also the important part. Like I said, this stretch now coming up that we are now in the midst of, so far starting off with Orlando, Indiana, we got the Bulls, the Cavs, the Nets. Like this stretch is going to tell us a lot about who this team is, who the Raptors are, you know? And things got off to a rough start on Tuesday, fam. Rough start. Like, I want to go back to that quote from Jalen Suggs after they beat Indiana. Because I feel like this quote literally set the tone against the Raptors, right? Because we were their next opponent after they slapped up Indiana, right? So here's the Jalen Suggs quote after the game, right? Just come out and hit them in the mouth early. It's like a boxing match. Once you've got in their head that they don't want to get hit, they don't want to play physical. They don't want to play against tough defense. It's hard to play against that night in and night out. End quote from Jalen Suggs. No cap. No cap. Real talk things. Sometimes when players come out and they just start talking and they say things, you're like, yeah, okay, like back it up. Back it up. Jalen Suggs then proceeded to back up everything that he just said in that quote. And I admit I was wrong about the Magic. I was talking about them like they were the Magic of the past. This is not the Magic of the past. After they beat us, they went and beat Denver the very next night on the back-to-back. The Nuggets. Now, I know that they're without Jamal Murray, but they still got the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic. Arguably, we could have the conversation about who's the best player in the NBA, but I mean, Jokic is up there. Like, no one can't tell me Jokic is not one of the best players in the NBA, if not the best right now. And I was wrong about Jalen Suggs. That is a player that you want on your ball team. Because the guy plays aggressive. He plays hard. He plays with passion. He plays with effort. He plays with heart. And he's not a bad player either. Right? Like, obviously, I listed all the intangibles. But from a skill standpoint, the man can play ball. Remember in the Scotty Barnes draft, all the analysts thought that we were going to take Jalen Suggs because we were losing Lowry, and they thought that we needed a point guard. Now, mind you, okay, I ain't tripping. Scotty Barnes is a better player than Jalen Suggs. We made the right pick, right? His ceiling is higher. He can, like, Scotty Barnes could potentially be an all pro in this league, an all NBA player in this league. I don't see Jalen Suggs being that type of guy, but he's a leader on the floor, a leader of men, right? When I see this guy getting down, slapping his hands, clapping them together, like galvanizing the team, I admit I'm a sucker for that type of stuff because that is the type of player that I want on my team. I love those types of players. Jalen Suggs backed it up and he roughed up the Raptors all night long. And the rest of the team, the Orlando Magic, they are no slouch. They all play with physicality like it's a boxing match. Physicality. And they stay stuck to you like glue. They contest everything and they don't give up a lot of offensive rebounds. I think they only gave up 5 to us in that game. Now, those of us that are Raptors fans, because I was gonna say us Raptors fans because I just assume a lot of the people that watch this channel are Raptors fans, but that's not the right assumption. Anyone can watch this channel. Maybe you just want to just check in because your opponent's going against the Raptors and you want to get a detailed analysis of what this team is. Come through. Listen to this podcast. Because I'm not going to give you a little 5-minute video, quick synopsis, and out just for the views. I'm doing this for the love, for the passion of the team. And one of my mandates is to hold players and coaches accountable on the court through my podcast. Simple as that. If you like that type of stuff, view in with me. We on YouTube, we on Spotify. Check me out. I digress. That whole Magic team is physical. And to be honest, we know that the Raptors are not the most physical team. We are pretty finesse most of the time. Now, you have guys that are aggressive that can get mucky down there. You know what I'm saying? Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, those are tough players that'll play aggressive, put body on you. Jakob Poeltl can do something down low, but the rest of the team is kind of finesse. Let's be honest. And OG Anunoby doesn't spend all of his time down there in the paint. He's a deadly shooter. Scotty Barnes is kind of in and out the paint, but he's kind of slowed down a little bit as the season has gone on. Let's be real about it. Now, I don't think that that's anything that is a knock on Scotty Barnes. I still think this team is trying to find itself. They've now been able to get Pascal going, which was one of my hot topics at the beginning of the season. I'm like, Pascal, where are you, fam? You know what I'm saying? And Scotty was running wild. Now, things have kind of reversed in a little bit. And hopefully, at some point, Darko Rajakovic can figure out how to get these two guys going at the same time. Now, I thought did a good job against Indiana, but in this Orlando Magic game, we didn't have it. We didn't have it. They punched us in the mouth, fam. They punched us in the mouth, and we never got back up. And that was one of our better three-point shooting games against the Magic. I think we shot 50% against the Magic. Imagine we would have shot our regular percentage, right? Somewhere around 30-something, like low 30-somethings. We would have got dust out more than we got dust out. Now, Jamal Mosley, man, the coach of the Magic, and maybe this sounds like I'm just riding a Magic nutsack right now, but I am impressed with the Magic. Right now, on Thursday morning, they are 10-5, tied for second in the East. It's like a 4-way tie with like Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and Miami and Orlando. But when you break down the tiebreakers, if the season were to end today, which it doesn't, Orlando would be second in the East. How about that? How about that? The Magic. I wrote them off. I was wrong. I wrote them off. I was wrong. Jamal Mosley right now, he needs to be in a coach of the year discussion, the early coach of the year discussion, right? Because it's still mad early in the season. But if the Magic are able to keep this up, which I think it's sustainable the way that they play, I'll keep it even another buck with y'all. The way that Magic play is the way that we wish the Raptors played. Facts. Facts. They're aggressive. They get out on the run when they need to. They make good decisions in the half court. They play solid defense and they rebound the ball. They play with physicality. They play with heart. The Raptors can do that too, but we're sometimers. We are sometimers, guys. One quarter, we look amazing on defense. We look amazing on offense. And in the next quarter, we get blown out by 20. Just using that as an example. I'm not pointing to any specific game. I'm just saying in general. Now I'm going to shoot the Raptors a little bit of bail here, because this is like the second year under Mosley now where they've got their guys, right? It's Paolo Banchero's second year in the league now. He was rookie of the year last year. Franz Wagner was in the conversation not the year before that, but I think the year before that with Scotty Barnes. Right? They've got guys over there, man. And Cole Anthony, University of North Carolina product. Cole Anthony is killing it off the bench. Killing it. Playing big minutes. A real sixth man. A real sixth man. This guy could be starting on teams. You know, they had no Wendell Clark yesterday. They had no Markelle Fultz yesterday. Or not yesterday, on Tuesday, and they still went to work on us. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, that game was just not good to us. That game was not good to us. We got it handed to us, but I don't think we've played a team like that yet. That is young and starving and physical, and they want to make the next jump now. I was talking to my boy yesterday, and he agrees. Like, yo, some of these younger teams that we just used to just beat up and just have a, you know, we used to think that they were cupcakes are no longer cupcakes. The Magic, OKC, Sacramento. These are teams that used to be cupcakes, man. And now it looks like the Raptors are falling back a little bit. Now, I still have hope that we can turn it around, because I think that we have a solid roster. The question is whether the pieces fit with the coach's philosophies. And as of right now, some nights it does and some nights it doesn't. So which one is it? We don't know what this team is yet. They're still trying to find themselves, like I said earlier. But when you get punched in the mouth like that, man, you start looking in the mirror for real. Say, who am I? Who am I? Much better performance against Indiana on Wednesday. But Indiana doesn't play any defense. None. If you look at things, episode 23, Bare Licks, when I broke down who Orlando and Indiana are. I gave you the advanced stats. So we know who these teams are. But I had to see it. And I said that in that episode as well. I'm like, well, we'll see on Tuesday. And we found out quick. Because Jalen Suggs was not ramping with us, bro. He was not ramping with us. We lost all 4 quarters against the Magic on Tuesday. All 4 of them. Broken record time, guys. Because I've said this before. So hopefully this doesn't become a trend, because I feel like I just keep saying this. When you lose every single quarter, it's mathematically impossible to win the basketball game. Can't happen. You lose every single quarter, B. You're not winning. You can't play that way. You can't play that way. I don't know if the Raptors like took Orlando lightly, like they thought this was like the old Magic. But like, if my memory serves me correctly, and I didn't research this again because I said this on episode 23 as well. I swear we had like 2 straight games in Orlando. I think it was last season, and they slapped us, yo. And you're bringing back like basically the same roster, minus Fred Van Vliet, add a couple guys, Dennis Schroeder, and you just letting that happen like that again. For those that can remember, like years ago, we used to struggle in Charlotte. Like even when they were the Bobcats, I think they were the Bobcats, and every time we went there, we just used to lose, or it's just a difficult game. Like I hope this isn't the case now with the Magic, where every time we're going into Orlando, we're just feeling the nice warm heat, and man, them are just laxing. But I give Orlando credit, man. I give Orlando credit. They've come a long way with their program, man. They've come a long way. It's not the same old Magic guy, and we found out real quick, real quick. Our starters left the game with like 7 minutes or something like that, 6 minutes. We're out of there because the game was long done, long done. You know, and when you look at like the stats for this game too, right? Like when you look at like the percentages, both teams shot 50%, right? Free throws, we had 3 more free throws than them. We shot a pretty good percentage, 17 of 22 for 77%. They shot 70%. Rebounds are the same. Assists are basically the same. Steals 12-6, so we gave away 6 possessions there. But the real issue in this game, 2 things. The turnovers. 24 turnovers, guy? When you started winning the game, you had 21 sometime in the fourth when the starters were still there. And that's what happens when you play physical basketball teams that play within their system, within their principles, right? They're not overly aggressive. They just play solid, hard defense. They punch you in the mouth, and then you start getting out of character. Turning over the basketball left, right, and center. You're going to lose that way. Can't happen. We gave up 31 points off of those turnovers. 31. On the flip side, now we got 13 points off of their turnovers. So that's 18 points. That's 18 points that you literally gave up in terms of the margin for turnovers. Can't win that way. And I thought they were supposed to be a team that thrives in the paint. What happened there? 68-32 in the paint for Orlando. So what does that say? It's exactly what Jalen Suggs was talking about, yo. We play physical. We punch you in the mouth, and then you don't want to do this anymore. So now you're outside shooting now because you're not doing this in the paint today because you don't want that type of smoke. Telling you, man, I give Orlando credit. Because they just put themselves above that third tier where it was like Toronto, Indiana, you know what I mean? Those types of teams. Orlando's now talking about, yo, they're not quite yet contender status. But if they're able to have a strong regular season and get a favorable matchup in the first round, they could be a second round team. Now, again, I'm not jumping out the window. There's still lots of season left to go. They still got lots more to prove. But they're looking like a team that's willing to go out and prove it night after night after night. Because they put their money where their mouth is. What do we say? I'm a fighter. We just gotta stay with the coach and stay together. That's no disrespect to our team. But like, we're not talking the way that they're talking. They're talking like, alphas. We talking like, we just here to play ball. And that's cool too. That's cool too. But you got to show up night in and night out. It can't be you're nice tonight, you're trash tomorrow. Yeah, it can't be like that. It needs to be something consistent. Where are you hanging your hat? I said that our defense looked solid to start the year. And then I've been talking about how it started to slip. And I saw a graphic last night in the Indiana game where they're talking about how the defense has slipped over the last 6 games. So I'm giving y'all truth. I'm analyzing the game and I'm telling y'all what I see. And now when I start to hear the broadcast talk about it a week or two after I start talking about it, I mean, shoot. No lies detected, bro. So anyways, yeah, we lost that game. At that point, we went to 6-8. But there was an opportunity now to go redeem yourself against Indiana. Much different style of team. Originally, I thought that we more closely aligned with Orlando. I was wrong. I underestimated their physicality. And I actually called it out too in that episode. I'm like, maybe it's just the physicality. And damn sure I was right. Orlando is a physical basketball team, bro. Jalen Suggs wasn't just talking. But Indiana, they're more finesse like we are. Now, I think that we're a better defensive team than them, even though last night, both teams scored 130 plus. We got one more than them, and that's all it takes to get the dub. That's all it takes to get the dub. But damn, I would much rather be a physical basketball team that'll punch you in the mouth. But it was a nice game to watch. Can't lie. Can't lie. These guys are going up and down the court. Indiana makes teams play their style. That's one thing that I'll definitely say between these two teams, Orlando and Indiana. They seem to know who they are and what they want to do. Versus us, yet we don't really have an identity. It looks like we're starting to do some things inside, but when it gets rough now and tough, like Orlando made it for us, we don't want to do that no more. So now I'm questioning, who are we? Who are the Raptors? Because I don't know. But we played Indiana style last night because they were running up and down the court with pace. That game was entertaining, boy. You can't even look at your phone for a second because you miss something. The way that these two teams were playing so fast-paced. Tyrese Halliburton, man. Tyrese Halliburton, I mean, again, I don't get a chance to watch the Pacers games as often, especially now that I'm like picked up this podcast and I'm really analyzing the Raptors now. So I'm spending a lot of time just watching the Raptors, rewatching the game, trying to see things on the court from an X's and O's standpoint that I can pick up, try to get some ideas of trends. Like I'm paying attention to the Raptors like I've never paid attention to them before. And I still haven't given up my fandom. I'm still watching the game as a fan too. So I'm watching every game twice. I watch it once as a fan because I want to be able to enjoy it. I don't want to sit here and analyze and think this and that and the third while I'm watching the basketball game. I just want to enjoy the game. I may pick up on some things naturally like I've always done. But to do that deeper dive now, it's happening the next day where I'm rewatching the game. But anyways, I digress again. These guys are flying up and down the court. Tyrese Halliburton, bro, I did not know that he was so nice. I knew he was nice. I didn't know he was so nice, if you get what I'm saying. That man's killing it this year. Killing it. Legit. Now, I think some of that is due to the pace that the Pacers play with. Right? No pun intended. That's just Pacers. Perfect name for this team. The Indiana Pacers. Up and down. Right? So some of his statistical brilliance that we've seen so far to start the year, maybe just due to the fast pace that they're running, but you could tell the guy, I mean, his jump shot does not look good. I'll say that for one. But it's butter. It is butter. And his range, I didn't know he could shoot from so far out. He can get into the paint, stop, turn around, fall away, fade away, floater. Yo, that man has a full range of game. Balling out of control, that dude. Balling out of control. And he plays like a real point guard, too, setting up his mans in them. 16 assists last night. He's doing this stuff regularly, eh? Regularly. Leads the league in assists. And Buddy Hield was just helping him last night, drilling everything on the court from three. That man was wet, dog. Like I say, sometimes I watch these other teams and I get jealous, man. I get jealous. We don't have a shooter. We don't have a shooter. We have guys that can hit the three that we trust, but we don't have a shooter. I think Grady Dick's supposed to be a shooter at some point, but like we said with the stats, he's not really having the best start to his career. Maybe that'll just be a footnote at some point, you know? And he'll get things going and he'll be a solid player forever in the league. But at this point, it's not a footnote. It's glaring. He didn't even get into the game last night. But Buddy Hield, man, hitting everything. Big time shooter. Big time shooter. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, didn't matter. Just drilling them. You know? And it's not like we were shooting bad in this game, but we came out -8 in the first quarter. So that's at least 5 straight quarters that you lost now, going back to the Orlando game, you know, because we went wire to wire on Detroit. So that can't feel good to lose 5 straight quarters. So the end of the first is like 35-27. You know, but Siakam was getting in some work in this first quarter as well. You know, like I think it's important that Siakam was able to bounce back a little bit. And I don't think that he had a bad game against Orlando. I just think, again, Orlando's style, it's just not like they're going to, if you're a finesse player and your jumper's off, it's just not going to be a good night for you. But this game now, perfect for the Raptors. Up and down, same way with Indiana, right? Hitting our shots in this game. And I'll get to it, but Malachi Flynn, yo. Malachi Flynn went wicked in the second half. Wicked. Anyways, we'll get to that. But I mentioned the man's name. I hit the applause. You feel me? Because he deserves it. That kid has come a long way from what he was last year. And you got to give Darko credit for letting this guy play through it. Right? He had 14 points off the bench. Our best player off the bench yesterday. By far. By far. If you factor in that he was playing defense like a madman, he was making hustle plays, timely shots. had himself a great game, man. And I really hope that this is a step in the right direction for him, where he can play with a little bit more consistency off the bench. Because when I look at like players like Cole Anthony, for example, like why can't that be Malachi Flynn? Why? Same build, same type of skill set, right? I think one is just super confident and probably a little bit more polished in the details of his game, right? Because Cole Anthony is, his father was a player in the league. For some of you younger people out there that might not know, like Greg Anthony, he used to call some of the games on NBA TV. Used to be an analyst on NBA TV, I believe. Like Cole Anthony's his son. So again, sometimes for like some of these players that your pops was a professional athlete, and maybe you just followed the exact same path. There's a lot of knowledge that you can get straight from the source that maybe others may not be so privileged to get. But Cole Anthony, why can't Malachi Flynn be a player like that? Malachi can shoot the basketball. I know it doesn't go down, but his mechanics are good. It looks like it's going in. And then when he has a game like this, you're like, yes, that is it. Bottle that, keep that, and be that. You dig? Like, yo, man, I'm proud of him, man. Very, 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 very proud of him, yo. But yo, the second quarter, we turned it up now. We went plus 11 in this quarter. Plus 11 after going minus 8 in the first quarter. So you're going up 3 now at the end of the first half. So finally you win a quarter. So now you're putting yourself in position to at least have a chance to win the game. Because like I said, you lose all 4 quarters, 100% of the time you're losing the game. There's no 99.9. It's 100%. You lost. So you get back on track now in the second quarter. And it's hard to keep up because, again, these guys are just scoring at an incredible pace in this game. It's hard, yo. But, I have my notes here. Flynn was even going off in the second quarter. Maybe that's where he went off, actually. Sorry, my bad. He went off in the second quarter and the fourth quarter. He hit a 3. He had a blow-by layup. Had another quarter 3. Had to make them call a timeout on an 8-2 run. Malachi Flynn, y'all. Malachi Flynn. Yo, that's 8 points. 2 threes and a 2. He went on a run by himself. When the hell did we ever thought we'd hear that? That's not normal from him. But I hope that becomes a thing. Right? And then you have baskets by Halliburton hitting threes, Buddy Hield doing his thing. It was just regular all game long. It's either Tyrese Halliburton was scoring some way, some form on the court. Buddy Hield was hitting threes from everywhere. Pascal Siakam was putting in work in the post. Dennis Schroeder had himself a good game. Like I was saying before, man, if it's anyone from mid-range on this team that's been consistent, it's been him. So he's scoring at all 3 levels. I actually prefer for him not to shoot the 3 as often, but it seems like he's picking his spots. But on certain nights, he may take a few too many 3s. But when he picks his spots and he gets it going from, he's going to the basket, laying it in, he has a good first step. He gets around the defenders. And then when they try to cut him off now going into the paint, boom, pocket pass to Pirtle. Dunk, lane. As long as Pirtle doesn't have to put the ball on the floor at all, and all he needs to do is go straight up, I'm with it. I think he had a play last night where he had to put the ball on the floor for some reason. There's literally one dribble, turnover. So let's get Pirtle in the right positions, right? And he still had a decent game. I think he doubled again last night. But yeah, Pascal was eating, had a fall away jumper, had a spin move in the lane. I think it was who's their rookie? Something black, yo. Dominated. Not happening, guy. They got the wrong defender on him. But that's part of it. Find The matchups, you get a rookie on Pascal with Pascal's back to the bucket. Curry chicken, dog. Curry chicken, oxtail, whatever. It's food. Straight goods. So yeah, we went off in this quarter. We shot damn near 70% from the floor. And there's only 2 turnovers in that quarter. After I think they had like 8 or something in the first. So again, this holds true with most basketball teams. Don't turn over the ball, and you put yourself in a much better position to win the game. Unless you have 3 years ago, 4 years ago, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson that could just shoot you back into a game every night, then the rest of us normal folks, rest of us normal teams that don't have 2 of the best shooters of all time on the same squad, let's take care of the basketball. So the Raptors did a good job of that in the second quarter, taking care of the basketball, and the results followed with the plus 11, right? And also, we're on fire, 70%. Like, come on, man, you know? But then the Pacers came out now third quarter and, again, healed Halliburton threes like the rest of the night. That's what they're doing all night long, just getting whatever they want up and down the court. And that's the thing with the Pacers. After, a scored bucket, remember when Kyle Lowry used to run over, get the ball, and try to get it in real quick to get the ball down the floor to see if they can get a mismatch, or maybe the opposition is jogging back on D or something, try to catch them napping? That is Indiana, literally the entire basketball game. They're beating us down the court at times. I saw Orlando do it to us too, by the way. But we were sleepwalking through the Orlando game. They had a sleepy pace. But this game is literally impossible to be asleep because boom, 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 up and down the court. Up and down the court. But Indiana made it an emphasis. I mean, shout out to Rick Carlisle, by the way, man. Shout out to Rick Carlisle. I don't think Rick Carlisle gets enough credit in this league, or gets talked about in this league as one of the better coaches of all time. I think he gets forgotten about. Like, Rick Carlisle won a championship with the Dallas Mavericks beating LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. Rick Carlisle did that, putting J.J. Barea on LeBron James. Somehow, that genius worked. Somehow. Now, we could have this discussion another day about, where LeBron's mind state might have been during them times. Maybe he just wasn't ready, but, I mean, it happened. Rick Carlisle has had a coach of the year in this league. He has beer wins in this league. The Mavericks were competitive for years. His first stint with the Pacers, they were good. They were a contender. So Rick Carlisle, man, I forget about it myself. I'm guilty of it, talking about the better coaches in the league. Rick Carlisle is one of those guys. And for those of you that know your ball, there's some coaches around the NBA over time that have just been steady coaches and never won a championship, like the Rick Adelmans, you know what I mean? But Carlisle has a championship, but he still gets forgotten about. But anyways, he's in Indiana, and he's running this type of style that I've never seen him run before. They are literally pacing back and forth all game long, and he uses his bench. Like I was saying on episode 23, Beer Licks. The Pacers have 8 players that are scoring in double digits on that team. So they're using the bench. They're one of the top bench scoring teams in the league. You have to be if you have at least 3 guys off the bench averaging 10 plus. Our bench, I bet you our bench is probably averaging 25 if you add it up between all of them. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, man, the Pacers and Raptors were just kind of going back and forth in this game. We went -4 in this quarter, so we were down 101-100 going into the fourth quarter, which is insane for a Raptors game because I think we were holding teams to 110 points before the Orlando game. After the Orlando game, that might have bumped up a little bit. And I'm pretty sure it bumped up again after this game. Well, I'm 100% sure it bumped up again after this game. Right? But anyways, this game's going wild. Scoring. Scoring to the right of them, scoring to the left of them. Everybody's getting in on the action. Dennis Schroeder, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam. Right? And he went off in this third quarter. I think he had 13 in the third quarter, Pascal Siakam. 13. In the third quarter, he was already at 30 for the game in the third quarter. So the man was going off. He's having himself a game. And again, you have to take things with a grain of salt too, right? The Raptors had a phenomenal offensive game, but take it with a grain of salt because the night before we saw what it was in Orlando against a team that actually plays defense. Indiana's defense, like they play defense, but they're so aggressive. And they don't really there's no discipline on their defense. They're just fouling. I was surprised to hear that they lead the league in fouls, or sorry, opponents' free throws. They get the most free throws in the league. I was surprised. And the Raptors, I think, had their best free throw shooting game of the year against a team that gives up a lot of fouls. So again, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. We can't just look at this game and be like, yo, the Raptors are back on track. And I'm reluctant to do that until I see them string together some games, like a real win streak. Not a 2-game, not even a 3-game. At a 3-game, I'll be like, yeah, that's right, we good, let's go. But I still need to see more. I want to see like a 5-game win streak, or you've won 6 out of 7. I need to see stuff like that where they're playing consistent against good competition, decent to good competition. It can't be like 2 games against Detroit and then whoever else is down there in the West, you're just running through bad teams. Like, we need to see some consistency against the good teams before I start saying this team turned the corner. But, I mean, they were on fire yesterday against a bad defensive team. Again, I'll take it any which way I can get it, so I don't want to hate. Right? But Pascal was eating down low and in the short mid-range. And the reason why I'm not chalking up his effort to the competition is because he's been doing this recently. He's been doing this. This is like his thing now. This is butter. Paint work, post work, face-up game. And he got another 3 tonight. And it's not like he's out there shooting threes willy-nilly either. Like he was earlier on in the year where they're trying to bury him in the corner. Like that was some of the worst stuff I ever seen as a coach, man. How the hell you bury Pascal Siakam in the corner? But anyways, that's beyond us now. We are beyond that time. We are now in a time where Pascal has been eating in the paint for the last week and a half consistently. So this isn't just because the Pacers are a bad defense. You dig? So yeah, man, everything's still a go. We're still shooting high percentages. We're getting to the foul line. We're actually hitting our free throws. The last couple of games, last 3 games, I would say, even the Orlando game, I think we shot 77% from the line. The last 3 games, we've been shooting well from the free throw line. So maybe they're getting into extra work like I asked, because we were doing horribly before that. We were dead last at one point. I think like 10 games in or something, we were dead last. So it's nice to see the turnaround there. Right? But again, the fourth quarter starts now. Malachi Flynn. Malachi Flynn makes a nice drive finish early in the fourth quarter, like a winning type of play. You know what I'm saying? A winning type of play. Playing with confidence, knowing that he can get what he wants when he wants to get it. Now, there were still a couple of times here where he made some moves to the paint where the move was good, but he did a little bit too much of the rockabye baby stuff. Just go up and finish. But I get it. When you have a shot blocker like Miles Turner over there, you're going to think twice about how you go in there. or else he'll send it away. I think he led the league in blocks at one point, maybe a couple of years ago. So the man, he's a shot blocker. But Malachi was getting in, man. And, we kind of seeing this two-guard lineup again. When OG and Gary Trent were all, we like randomly saw like this this two-guard lineup with Malachi and Dennis. And it worked. And now we've seen it consistently for the last few games, even with Gary and OG back in the lineup. So that's the nice part now about with coaching when you're just trying to find things out early on in the season, because you might stumble across something that you weren't really going to try, but you had to try it out of necessity, and it worked. So kudos to the coaching staff for figuring that part out, But yeah, man. Oh my God, this play here. More Malachi Flynn for your head top. Okay? So Barnes made like a wicked pass inside to Chris Boucher. It was like a no-look type thing. And then Boucher like blew it at the rim. I guess he was worried about the shot blocker too. But the ball came back out to like the free throw line. Malachi, Johnny on the spot. Got the ball, finished it, bucket. Another big bucket by Malachi. Timely buckets. Because remember, it's tight now. It's a tight game in the fourth quarter. Malachi was making hustle plays out there. Drew a foul on one play. I think Jakob Poeltl saved the basketball from going out of bounds on like a miss. And then Malachi got the ball and just drew a foul. And the reason why that's important now is because it's the fourth quarter. And Indiana's now using up fouls. So the quicker you can get to the free throw line in a game where you're actually shooting well from the free throw line, because again, we were struggling earlier on in the year. But in this game, I was good with them getting to the foul line until I wasn't good, and that we'll get to. I know y'all saw the game, so you know what part I wasn't good at. But still, right? Like that's a good basketball play. You want to do those types of things. But then we still find ourselves down 123, 116 with about 4 minutes left. Now, this is the time now when we got to do something, because this is the game. This is the game. So here's where it gets critical, right? Schroeder found Pascal for a bucket. So I guess Schroeder got his first assist of the game. He only had one assist yesterday. Like, Schroeder, how you only get one assist in a game like this? I'm going to double check that real quick, but I'm pretty sure he only had one assist yesterday, which is just absolutely ridiculous. My bad. He had 5. So maybe it was the Orlando game where he only had 1. My bad, Dennis. You had 5. You got another one down the stretch here to Scotty Barnes. It was a big. So Pascal Siakam was a big bucket. We needed it, right? So yeah, Pascal was getting some work in the post. Basically, the team's playing good defense. OG then got a corner 3 that we needed badly. Pascal got to the free throw line with about 36 seconds, went 2 for 2. Halliburton then made a drive to the basket. OG played good defense, but he fouled him. Halliburton hit 2 free throws. Then basically, this is where I want to get to. Okay, I want to get to the goods here in the fourth quarter. Okay, because we know what it was at this point. All right, the Raptors find themselves up in the game. Right, you find yourself up in the game. Scotty Barnes. Okay, the Raptors are up 2. Scotty Barnes is going to the line. Right, Scotty Barnes is going to the line for a chance to extend the lead to 4. Misses the first one. Missed the first one. Now, all night long, we've been shooting free throws well. Now is not the time when you want to seal the game where you're now going to start missing free throws. Bad timing, G. Bad timing. But he hit the second one now, so it's a 3-point game. You would have rather it be a 2-possession game. You would have rather it be that. All right? Then Halliburton went to the basket, got fouled by OG. Darko challenged the play. Good on Darko for saving a timeout and a challenge that he could use on that play because it could have went either way. Like the way that I saw it was a foul. OG grabbed his jersey, grabbed his forearm, did everything, bumped him. It was a foul. Little ticky-tacky, but it's a foul. That one I would never argue. It's a foul, right? So Halliburton goes to the line now, sinks 2 of them. So now it is a 1-point game. The Raptors inbound the ball to Gary Trent Jr., who on the broadcast, they say, yo, Gary Trent's been shooting 56% from the line this year, yo. 56%. Now, here's the thing, because I was talking to my boy last night, too. He's like, yo, why the hell would they give the ball to Gary Trent Jr. when he's not shooting the ball well on free throws this year? You don't want to get the ball to somebody that's been hitting them at a higher clip than 56%. And I agree with that, but I also think historically Gary Trent Jr. has been a good free throw shooter, like in the 80s. I don't know what's happening this year. I don't know what's happening with dude, but he's not shooting well. He started to get back on track like from the field, but the free throws as a team, Gary, I don't know what to say about that. Bro, I don't know. I don't know why he's shooting so poorly from the free throw line. But I was hoping, I'm like, Gary, just make this a 3-point game, and at the very worst, like, it's going to go to OT. Because the Pacers have no timeouts at this point, too, right? Goes to the line, clanks the first one. You're like, all right, yo, at least make it a 2-point game, at least, in case there's a foul or something. Like, yo, they sing 2, then you might have an opportunity. Like, missed the second one, guy. Missed the second one. But good for us. Lucky for us. The Pacers didn't have no timeout. So now they got to take that ball from one end of the court to the next end of the court and try to get a shot up. The best thing that they could do was a 3 from Buddy Hield, who's been on fire all night long. This guy is not the guy who wants taking that shot. You know what I'm saying? He's not the guy. I know it was like a little far out, off balance type thing, but the man was just seeing it like it was an ocean yesterday. He was seeing it. Off the backboard, off the front rim, rolls out, game done. Raptors win. Woo! Man, we needed that one. Because if you go 0-2 in those games now, you find yourself at a 6-9 record. Today we're at 7-8. So they're doing what myself and Coach Jack Armstrong are saying. Stick around, hang around to figure some things out, and then you go on a winning streak. But if you're down like 4-5 games now in the win column to the loss column, and you have your win streak, then you're back at 500. Like that's really not what you want to do. You want to be around 500, maybe even a game over 500, a couple games over. And then you go on your win streak, and now you put yourself in a better position now. But the way that the East is breaking down, man, let's take a quick look at the East real quick, just so we know where things are as of today, Thursday, right? Boston number 1 in the East, 12-3. Then you have a 4-way tie, like I was saying earlier, Orlando, Milwaukee, Miami, Philadelphia. Then you have Indiana at number 6 at 8-6 that you just beat on their court. So they got to come to us now at some point, but at least you got one against the road against them. They're in the 6th spot. After them, it's the Knicks at 8-6, Cleveland at 8-7, Atlanta at 7-7, the number 9 slot, and then Toronto at 7-8 in the 10th spot. So you're only a game and a half out of 6th. A game and a half. That's not terrible, right? Like, you don't want to be sitting at 10th, right? You don't. But so early in the season to only be a game and a half out, and we know we have not played our best basketball to this point yet. We just haven't. We've had some good games, but it's been inconsistent. Let's go get these other couple games, man. Go get back the Bulls for that bull crap that we pulled against them on the second game of the year. Or was it the third game? I don't even care anymore. We know it happened early in the season. We were up on them in the fourth quarter, and then what could go wrong went wrong. What could go wrong went like way wrong. Way wrong in that game. Even for them. The Bulls are giving us chance after chance after chance. DeRozan missing free throw after free throw. Like, yo, we gotta go get this game, man. That is at home, and it's an in-season tournament game. But to be honest with you, I'm not really getting into the in-season tournament stuff. And maybe it's because the Raptors took so long to play an in-season tournament game. By then, nobody cared about the LL Cool J and the Roots song that I thought was lit because the first time I saw it. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the case. And because we're 0-2 already, you know, like, I don't know. Go get it because you have to. Go get it because you have to. Forget the fact that it's an in-season tournament game and you're trying to stay alive in the tournament, right? You're not winning the 500K, right? You're not. It's over. So now you're winning now because you want to get back to 501. You want to avenge that loss, that bad loss you had against the Bulls too. And then 3, you want to start to build a winning streak now against teams that are winnable games. So you got every reason now to go out here and do your job. So yeah, man, I know this episode ran a little bit long. I was covering 2 games, and both of them had a lot that needed to be covered. So let's wrap this up, man. If you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. If you are not subbed up, sub up, like, share, comment, do all the above so that we can get the algorithms going. Like, I'm doing this channel because I love my team. I'm doing this channel because I want to keep them accountable. I'm doing this channel because it's fun and I like it. I love it so far. I'm having a great time. This is fantastic. You know? But I do want to get this out to others. I want to grow the channel. And I need us, we who are subscribed and listening to the podcast, to like and share. You know what I'm saying? Help a brother out, man. We're going to grow this thing together, man. But for all of y'all right now that are subscribed and tuning in whenever you can, I truly, 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 truly do appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. And it's U.S. Thanksgiving today, so I am thankful for that. And I'm thankful to be Canadian because, you know, there's a whole lot of things that, you know, there's a whole lot of things in this world that I'm able to do here that I can't do in other places in the world right now, right? I can sit here and do a podcast and have a good time, and I just appreciate the fact that I'm able to do that. You know, Canada gives me an opportunity to do that, right? So that's my little, you know, what am I thankful for today for anybody that's in the U.S. and you're listening. Listen to the 6 mans talking stuff about the Raptors. But anyways, again, do all those things, and we are on Spotify. So again, if you prefer to listen to the audio version, go subscribe there, follow there. Even if you don't prefer, just go there and follow and subscribe again for the same algorithm reasons. Your boy would appreciate it. But anyways, if you are listening to on Spotify, come check us out on YouTube, yo. Because YouTube's lit too. All right? So anyways, you know the flex. It's your boy, man. And I'm out.